and other members on the front row, students. It is always a pleasure and honor to address a gathering of young students, young minds. It is so important because of the subject which I am trying to address, the inequalities. Inequalities are equal to injustice. Those who are born in poverty or in poor income class group, they suffer from many complexes: inferiority, lack of resources, support. We are, though we do not want to, we want to live our own life as created, as given to us by the nature. But when we live in a society, we cannot be disconnected from the effect of the society. If some people are very rich and some are very poor and some are from the middle class, we see inequalities. Not only we just see the inequalities, we see the impact of inequalities on our life. A rich man with his resources develops better social contacts. He has contacts with the politicians, he has contacts with the bureaucrats, he has contacts with the judiciary, and he is able to mold the justice in his favor, even though he may be wrong. A poor person cannot buy the justice. He suffers. First of all, he is born in poor family, so first injustice is caused to him. Second, just injustice is caused when the support is not extended to him. Third, injustice is caused when he's categorized. ये ऐसे लोग हैं. We don't consider them equal human beings. Which child makes his parents poor? Which child makes his parents rich? What is the role of a child? What is the fault of a child? A child does not make an application to give me birth. It is a natural system, procreation system, through which a child is born. Why a child born in poor family or in a middle class family suffer from inequality? What is the cause? What is the justice in this? Who is responsible for ensuring inequality? Sorry, who is responsible for ensuring equality? Are children to be dependent only on parents, on the resources of the parents, or are they to be considered the valuable assets of the nation? All the politicians talk in big speeches. Children are the future of our nation. They're the future of our growth story. Pradhan Mantri claims India is the youngest nation in the world. So we will grow, we will overtake the whole of the world. On whose basis he is claiming that? On the basis of the youth. But what we are giving to the youth? Inequality, sufferings, injustice. Why we are not talking of creating equalities for the youth? Why we are not creating equality for the children born to poor? So this question was hovering my mind for a long time. As when I was in the college, I faced economic struggle, hardship, and at that time I realized your social relationships are not based on emotions. They're based on practical realities of life, which is whether you hold wealth, whether you hold a social status. If you do not hold any of these two, the value of a human being is less than of an animal. And throughout my hard work to grow, to develop myself, to establish myself as a successful person, during this process also, I found that if you're not dishonest in this corrupt system, you cannot grow. So, who is making you corrupt? Your character or the system of the society? Yes, madam was talking to me yesterday. She went to post office. She suffered a lot despite being the director of a college. Every day we are suffering. We are suffering from traffic jams. We are suffering from corruption. We are suffering from exploitation, injustice, pollution, adulteration. Who are those people who are allowing the system to deteriorate? From where are they getting the authority and power? So these questions were hovering around on my mind. So what is the solution? Will we continue to talk about the problems, or will we talk about a solution? Talking of problem is one thing, it is very important, but understanding the cause of the problem is another very important aspect. Third, finding a solution. Fourthly, the solution which can be implemented. Fifthly, solution should be logical, reasonable. If it is not logical, not reasonable, it will be just an idea. So when I started writing on this book, I only had an idea. That idea was there should be no inequality of any kind between the children, because children are not responsible for the poverty, for any problem in the society. There are families where parents are in dispute, husband wife is in dispute. That causes psychological adverse impact on the growth of a child. Again, what is the fault of a child? Why should a child suffer? Once a child undergoes through such problems, psychological problems, his growth automatically is restricted. He grows with a low confidence as compared to other children who come from well-off families, well supported by parents. Just look at a minister. He's the child born in his family from day one will see the big officers, bureaucrats, IAS officer, IPS officer coming to their house and going before their father. What kind of confidence the child will get versus a child whose whose parents are exploited by the system? Those parents are going to tell the child to be careful, to be watchful, don't take extra risk, don't talk extra things. Whereas the child born to ministers, he will talk nonsense, but still nobody will obstruct him, nobody will stop him. His confidence level will be different. That is how we see youth being exploited, because when we see a minister's son or a person of a powerful person in the society, we are enamored by his powerful status. We become his sycophants, and then they starts exploiting us. The people or the children from the normal families, they are penalized for being the for having relationship with the person in powerful, because he will get away with his crime, but innocent will be caught. They will have no remedy. They will get rebuke from the parents also. Why did you join their company? But there is no way. So how an individual is to survive in this corrupt society based on his individuality, based on his own strength? This is what this book talks about. This book talks about a solution. This book is not merely a discussion on the problems. This book is a discussion on the solution and how the solution has to be implemented so that each child, each citizen, each human being living in the society lives with dignity. The dignity also has been defined, and this book has been explained at many places with the help of stories. Most of the stories are connected with day to day life, which you will, when you read the stories, you will find a connection with them. And this book runs in the form of a, when I was writing this book, I was, this was my first attempt to write a book at all. I did not know how to write a book, so my plan was to jot down the ideas. As I said initially, the idea was child to child inequality and how to bring equality. This was just an idea, and this idea generated in my mind in 2008. At that time, I was a businessman. I was not into the practice of law. During 1 year of trying to write the book, I realized that I need to understand the structure of the society, which is based on law. Then I joined the subject of law. So when I was studying law, I started understanding the legal provisions which can help me to connect with my idea. So I started studying law with a lot of interest, especially the Constitution of India and other legal acts. Importantly, also started taking legal actions. What I was studying in the books and what was happening in the society, there was a vast gap. So to bridge that gap, I started taking legal actions. Through those legal actions, I learned a lot of things happening in the society, and these legal actions prompted me to join the practice of law, to understand law in more detail in a practical angle, not from a theoretical angle by reading the books. So I started taking even further legal actions. Now, as this was happening, I had to leave my business. I left my business completely because the subject was too much close to my heart. I didn't want to lose this idea of writing a book on this issue in a manner which will bring justice in society so that no child suffers from inequality in any manner as the future we see. I felt that if I die without writing a book, then my idea will also die. But if I write the book, then die, I will die, but idea will not die. You most of you must have heard of Socrates, Socrates. He used to awaken the citizens in the state. It used to be city state, small small kingdoms. When the king encountered him, he said, "You are instigating people against me." He said, "No, I'm not instigating anybody. I'm just awakening them. I'm trying to understand things from a reasonable angle, from a logical angle. And if they understand the logic and they want to question you, it's not my fault. They're using their mind. You are ensuring they don't develop their mind. I'm ensuring they develop their mind." So King said, "But they are acting against me." He said, not my fault. They're using their brain. Now the king said, "If you do not stop, I will have to kill you. Or you run away from my state, move to another state." He said, "King, my life is my idea. If I move away from my state or I change my idea, my life is gone. I will better take the poison, die, but not let my idea kill." So I'm very happy that I was able to complete this book. Now, during this journey of writing the book, as I started practicing law, my angle and thoughts were different. I questioned Supreme Court of India, why should an advocate stand before a judge who is a public servant? You're not lords. And I made it a human rights issue and got an order in my favor. This could be possible because of the correct knowledge of law. So this book has been written by correct understanding of the structure of the society, which all the citizens of this country should know. And people who are sad, who have lost hope that nothing can happen in this country, this book will give you hope. Not only hope, a concrete way forward to move on the path of solution and make all these public servants accountable towards the public, not to a quarter of group. Today, the, the judiciary is in a very bad state. You may have heard of Yashwant Verma's house full of cash, 15 crores and more. How Supreme Courts and the legislators, their hands in glove. Executive, in any case, is in the hands of the politicians. What about the citizens? Those who generate the power in a democracy, from where the power comes? From the citizens, from the voters, and they are neglected. Only once in 5 years they are remembered. Now there's an election in Ludhiana West about to happen. Just see the activities here and versus the activities in other areas. It's a clean example how things are shaping up. So it is very important that the citizen should realize their power. The constitution begins with we the people of India. It does not begin with few politicians or political parties or few individuals. We the people of India. So no institution in this country, howsoever big, whether the office of the Prime Minister, whether the office of the Chief Justice of India, is above the we the people of India. And today, we the people of India, the majority of them are the victims in the hands of few thousands of people. There are 140 crore people who have been made puppets in the hands of few people who have combined together to hijack the power from you. It is very high time we awake. Very, very high time. Otherwise, the future of our country, especially the youth, will be in turmoil. You may have heard of how the capitalism is coming back in its full stream. I will just share how the capitalism and the society underwent a change during the time of imperialism. When Britishers were ruling in this country or ruling other parts of the world, they used to make the local resident their farm workers and enslave them and ensure they work very hard. When industrial revolution happened, the same farm workers were taken to the industry and exploited as industrial workers. And the exploitation was so much because the greed was too much in the minds of the capitalists that they wanted more and more production and more working hours. Against this exploitation, Karl Marx wrote a communist manifesto, and the theory of communists got popularity. It was first implemented in Russia through Bolshevik Revolution in 1917. Thereafter, it started spreading. When it started spreading, the capitalist society became under threat. They felt that their capitalist status will be gone because the communist system will take over. If you see the example of that in India, under pressure of the capitalist, many measures were taken. I will come to those measures later on. So under the capitalist pressure, sorry, under the socialist pressure, these capitalist society they have to take many social welfare measures. They have to fix working hours for the laborers, give them holidays, give them education and health facilities, give them bonus, give them 1 month free holidays. So all these social welfare measures were announced to control the spread of communism. And under that pressure, what happened in India? If you may have read in history, the private banks were nationalized, private insurance companies were nationalized, Air India was nationalized, it used to belong to Tata's earlier. Many textile mills were nationalized. So this was the pressure of communism. But in this history of time of 50 or 60 years, communism started becoming weak and capitalists started becoming stronger. Now what is happening is they have the competition for them is over because there is no more communism threat. Even China, though we call it a communist country, but practically it is a capitalist country now. So when the communist threat is over, the same banks which were privatized, sorry, which were made public sector banks from privatized, are now being reversed back to the privatized. Airline has been given back to the private hands. So all those measures which were taken under the pressure of communism, those measures are being reversed now. And democracy is now a threat for capitalists. Because in democracy, if people become awakened through their vote, they still have the possibility of electing such a representative who can change the government policies and ensure equalities between the citizens. So this is a threat to capitalists. You must have seen how much wealth gap has been created in India between the rich and the poor. 1% population is almost holding 60% wealth. And I feel I've written in this book almost 5% population is holding 95% wealth. And they don't want to lose that wealth. Whatever developments are taking place in this country, it is the fifth largest economy in the world. If this is the fifth largest economy in the world, why it is so poor on equality index? Why there is so much of inflation? Why there is no job opportunities? Why the youth is trying to migrate to Canada away from the parents? What are we doing with the economy and the opportunities for others? Are those opportunities meant only for few business houses or for the sons of politicians or bureaucrats? What about the citizens of India? Those who are the generator of powers. So this book takes the readers to understand their power. What is your power? How to exercise that power? How to ensure you get your rights without violence through the means of democracy. And we have to save the democracy, because if democracy is lost, this opportunity will be lost. Today you must have heard of, there's a case to be decided by the Supreme Court of Korea. Martial law has been imposed in Korea a few months back. That is a killing of democracy. Some days ago there was a protest in Nepal for restoration of the monarchy. Who are financing those protests? The capitalists. They want to show democracy is not good, not good. They want to take away your rights. Without democracy, individual rights are not protected. Just remember, if you have a right to freedom of speech, right to freedom of movement from any place to anywhere in the country, you have a passport, it is because of democracy. If democracy is lost, these facilities will be taken away from you. So we have to fight with our mind. We have to change our mind from the hopelessness in our minds that nothing can happen. We have to bow before the corrupt system. No, we have to confront the system with right knowledge, not with the weapon, with the right knowledge. And through democratic processes, we bring a revolution. This exploitation, the corruption is taking place in this country only because we do not have the correct knowledge of democracy. We still have feudal mindset. These public servant, SHO, police station officer, commissioner of police, DC, what are they doing? What for we are appointing IAS officer, IPS officer, giving them handsome salaries, perks, facilities, and the status of a king? What for? What are they doing for the public? Have you ever seen a DC going to a slum area? Have you ever seen a commissioner of police going and interacting with slum area, talking about the rights? Has any commissioner come? You live in Ludhiana. Any district commissioner come to you to talk about your problems? What for they are? What for? Why are we giving them salaries, taxes, paying taxes through our nose? We have to awake. They're all misusing our resources without doing anything. They're not held accountable, and our rights are being violated. So this book is a call for awakening. This is to awaken the minds of people, especially the youth. And unfortunately, our minds are already fixed, filled with wrong information and knowledge. So much that today to differentiate a truth from falsehood is very difficult. Yesterday, I was listening to somebody in Six Siyasat channel. He was saying today, if somebody comes to crack jokes, make fun, speak falsehood, we will buy tickets to watch him, but not to watch the truth. That is the mindset we have. So I will appeal to all of you that please try to change your minds. This book is required to be read to understand, not a book to be kept in a library only. It is book to be kept in your mind to change your life. And we have to encourage students young, because see, my age is now almost 59. How many more years I have to live, I do not know. But it is very important for the youth to demand your rights, to learn about your rights, to learn about your status as a citizen of this country. If you are being governed by law, इधर नहीं जाना, इधर नहीं जाना, ये नहीं करना, जो वो लॉ बना रहा है वो आपके लिए आपकी लाइफ को गवर्न कर रहा है, आपने उसको भी तो गवर्न करना है कि वो लॉ ठीक बनाए. उसको खुला हाथ दे दिया. मैट्रिमोनियल डिस्प्यूट्स केसेस बड़े पड़े हमारे कोर्ट्स में. व्हाई? So courts are filled with all maximum false cases. There are very few true cases in the courts. Why? Why should we accept corrupt system? The moment we accept, we become part of it. Not even by indulging in corruption, not even by doing bribe. The moment say ऐसे ही चलेगा, to become part of it, we have encouraged it. हम बोले ऐसा कैसे चलेगा, हम नहीं चलने देंगे. So we have created a threat for it. Some kind of objection, some kind of obstruction. चोर चोरी कब करता है? व्हेन जिसकी चोरी हो रही है वो सो रहा है, अगर वो जाग रहा हो चोर चोरी नहीं करेगा। तो ये लोग वही कर रहे हैं। सो इफ वी बिकम अवेक, then we can stop and change the system. And for that, to encourage, because normally we don't want to read much these days, and social media is the most important source of information, whether right or wrong. We have tried, though this book has been priced at 225 rupees a copy, which is our printing cost only. We don't want to earn money. But to encourage students to read, we have two schemes. One is that we will give this book against a security of 200 rupees to each student, and they will read the book, write an essay, and some questions they will answer. We will return their money after receiving the feedback. Second is students who will write the essay and the answers to the questions. A committee will be formed of the teachers in your college along with the students. They will decide first, second, third prize, and a handsome amount will be given as a prize money and a certificate also. The whole purpose is that students read this book, understand it, ask questions to us. We have kept an interactive mode for interaction where if you have a question in your mind, you please ask us, clarify it. Your knowledge should be so crystal clear that you then know, okay, I can ask question to the Prime Minister also. And Prime